Here we are on the squad selection screen when you join a game. And this is quite nice because basically you can see who's in the various squads and pick one that you want to be in. So you want to join these guys? Why not? So we can see who the other people are, what their kits are. Now I want to go and, so I want to show a little bit about the play and scope of the map. It's approximately 600 meters from side to side. But we also have these back areas that are available for play for both teams. There's a fair bit of out-of-bounds territory which is accessible to the airplanes, as you can see. So the total scope of this map is quite big. It's about 200 meters between each of the flags, and this, some of the flags have vehicles associated with them. As you can see, the Edward flag has an armor vehicle. Charlie has an airplane spawn, and Butter has another armor spawn. There are also armored cars around the map, generally located near the flags, and there are gun emplacements. Importantly, I would say to pay attention to the big cannons, the field guns, and the anti-aircraft guns. There are ones on each of the sides by the spawns, and there are ones by Butters and one in the middle of the village. The AA guns are very good at taking out aircraft and the airship when it comes in. When you're going on to taking the map, now we're in the middle of a match, so I can't basically show you the initial rush. You kind of have a strategy for what flags do you go for. Do you try and push to go for very hard for the ones on the far side of the map, or do you try and get the ones close and establish a line? Our team is kind of fighting over right all the way through the middle of the map. It's rainy weather. You have different weather states that exist on the map, and it's also potentially possible for them to change during an engagement, but that does not seem to happen currently in the alpha, although certainly it could happen. So let's take a look at customization. We can't actually customize our tanks right now. I'm going to take this tank into battle in a moment, but it does have options. And you'll see that we have on the light close support tank option, which is the only one available in the alpha. There are two more or more that may be available later. You have a gas emitter and a medic crate as your extra support gadgets. Those are quite nice. You also can only choose one weapon. The C96 carbine, if you take a look at the picture, that's actually a C96 pistol with a stock attached. So it is not a high power carbine. It is basically a pistol with a bit more accuracy. Let's get into the action. On the British side of the map is relatively pristine and clear. The German side of the map has trenches and just a lot of destruction already at the start of the game. Of course, we'll get to destroy more of them. Rain is going to make spawning harder. I'm going to try not to damage too many where I can actually engage.
We have taken Objective Edward.
Oh yes, Objective Edward. As you may know, as you've heard, Battlefield 1 uses different callouts for the objective names. This was the actual phonetic alphabet used during World War I. The voiceover cuts through the sounds of the game quite well. Some people find the voice out of place. I can live with it. It certainly does the job of letting us know what objectives are under attack and the state of the game.
scout. One of theirs.
We are losing objective Edward.
You do not want to let soldiers get close to you when you're in a tank, because that happens. Although in that case, that's another tank.
We have lost objective Edward.
The sounds, destruction, this is just excellent. All the vehicles are actually fragile and subject to damage. I was partially disabled by the hit, which limited what I could do. I would have loved to get out and repair it, except that under the circumstances, I think I would have died. We'll see how well I can play while trying to talk while playing. Now, one thing I want to point out that we have this on this deploy screen, the to deploy button. I am not pressing it because I'm waiting to see if a medic will resuscitate me. If you can stay in play, I'll say we're going to take a moment because we're going to take a look at the spawn screen. Now you can spawn on flags, just like always. And you can also spawn on your squad mates. If you spawn on a flag, I'm not going to do it at the moment because I don't want to do it. You will not appear at the flag, but at some distance away from it. If these guys get out of fire, I will try and safely spawn, but I think I'll pick here. Take a little look at it.
The enemy is being reinforced with a behemoth.
In the middle of the firefight, I didn't get very far. So let's talk a little bit about, where was I at? Oh yes, I'm going to talk about vehicles. I'm going to see if I can have vehicles so I can do a little more demonstration of things we can do when we have a vehicle. I'm going to take the light tank and try and actually make a little more use of it than I. Two gadgets. You'll notice there's a 3 gadget, the gas canister, which should expel gas around the thing. The 4, which is a medic crate. All of the vehicles have extra gadgets. The attack plane has a very useful spotting flare. Definitely the pilot should make use of that in order to help find enemies on the map. One of the things that you should be doing, especially in bad weather, is spotting troops on the ground as much as possible, because the aircraft, and including the Zeppelin, cannot actually see anything on the ground.
We have taken objective Duff.
I'm going to head over to objective Duff and try
We have lost
and
objective Edward.
provide a little more security on it.
That's an enemy shock troop.
I do not want to fly underneath the Zeppelin due to the power.
We are winning.
It's going to rain hellfire on us. It has a lot of firepower. Now, speaking of the Zeppelin, using the Zeppelin is very important if you want to use it properly.
We have lost objective.
If it's going to be more than a distraction where you have fun raining down hellfire. It has a lot of firepower, but unless it's employed properly, it will not do anything to help out your team. Oh. Another tank. Now, as a tank crew, I only have this light gun. I also have anti-tank grenades. Fortunately, I have nothing else to hurt the tank with. Wait a minute, yes I do.
We have taken objective Charlie.
Well, it wasn't worth the try. Well, I do have a repair tool, and it can destroy vehicles if no one got out to shoot me. Oh yeah, speaking of the Zeppelin, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Zeppelin. I cannot actually show you playing from the Zeppelin because I'm not on their team. But you can see the Zeppelin is flying over the map, and it has 6 seats on it. If all the 6 seats are full, no one can jump out of the map because we could see people popping off of it to try and take these flags as long as there were empty seats available for them to do so. Now it has a lot of guns which can rain firepower down on these spots, but that is not going to affect things. Now on the other hand, this will, so I'm going to hop in for a moment to have a little last minute fun and probably die.
We have lost objective Charlie.
Because we're right in the range of Zeppelin's firepower.
Throwing a grenade!
And that's it. One complete game of Battlefield 1. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay and a little bit of talk about the flow of the game. The map size is one of the things that I want to keep in mind. There's enough distance to make long-range sniping possible, but it's not that easy. You can make 500-meter shots on it. Another thing to keep in mind always is that automatic weapons do not work with tap fire and burst fire the way they do with modern weapons. You should basically do sustained fire as much as possible and try and compensate for the recoil that way rather than trying to do bursting, because the weapons have they're basically much more erratic on the early part of the firing cycle than later on. And I'd say that's about it. I'm not going to start the next round yet. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this and have fun.